Hey guys, it's been an eventful day for the Irish athletes over at Ultimate Strongman's UK Strongest Man and UK Strongest Woman. So if you didn't catch the recap video on day one, which was yesterday, unfortunately 2 Irish athletes, Sean Diver and Nicky Whelan, ended up being eliminated. However, that still leaves us with 3 athletes that are representing Ireland at this competition. We've got Gemma Moore and Sarah Reynolds both going for the UK Strongest Woman, and then we've got Killian Groom who's going for UK Strongest Man. So to start with, we're going to look at the female athletes. Now, today they just had one event, but it was a big one. They had the truck pull. So this is an 8-ton truck that they're pulling along, so it's a very, very tough event. Now, before I get to the Irish athletes, I want to just talk about the first and second place athletes at the moment. So Rebecca Roberts and Lucy Underdown are having an epic battle for first place. So there was 2 events yesterday. We had the Husavell stone carry for distance and we had the block press. Rebecca came first in the Husavell and Lucy came second. Came to the block press, they switched around. So Lucy came first, Rebecca came second. Today in the truck pull, they switched around again. So Rebecca came first, Lucy came second. So they are just trading off every second event. They're trading off who actually wins it. So that's a legendary battle going on there. So it's anyone's guess who's going to win that. The Irish competitors. So both of them ended up yesterday. They were sort of in around mid-table. They were doing quite well. Gemma ended up being in 4th place yesterday at the end of the day. And Sarah was a little bit further down in 7th place. Now it comes to the truck pull today. Sarah, who is by far the lightest competitor, 75 kg, so very, very light competitor, up against Rebecca Roberts, who's 140, and Lucy's 125. So, you know, very, very light competitor. And you would imagine a truck pull body weight, the bigger you are, the easier it's going to be to actually pull that truck. She came in 4th place and got 5 points. Now that's an epic effort from her. I can't understate that. That's a huge performance there. Gemma unfortunately came in 8th position, so she got 1 point. Just didn't go her way. I don't know exactly what happened. I haven't seen any clips from it. Just for some reason didn't go to plan. But that means after day 2 and after 3 events in total, Sarah Reynolds now sits in 5th place with 7 points. Gemma is in 6th place with 6 points. So 5th and 6th, so they're in around the mid-table. It's not doing too bad. There's 2 events left which are coming up tomorrow, and they are the deadlift for max and we've got the sack throw. So it's hard to know what will happen. Anything could happen. The 3rd place competitor, that's what Gemma and Sarah will be looking at. They'll be looking at that 3rd place because Rebecca and Lucy are just, they're out of sight for any of the other competitors at this stage. But that 3rd place, which is Claire Myler at the moment, it sits at 10 points. And when you think Sarah's on 7 points and Gemma's on 6, so there's 3 and 4 point gap up to that 3rd place. Every event, the 1st place person gets 8 points. So there's a lot of points. There's still 16 points up for grabs. It's well within possibilities that Gemma or Sarah could close that gap and possibly overtake. So yeah, we're not giving up. Fingers crossed, and I do think there'll be some surprises tomorrow, so fingers crossed. Moving on to the men's competition. Now, the results are still coming in just as I record this, so I'm seeing stuff popping up here, so if I get distracted, you'll know why. Killian ended up in 5th position after day 1. A couple of technical difficulties really cost him, and they weren't his fault. So to end up coming 5th, which is above the elimination places, that was a great result. So he didn't have to face the eliminators yesterday, saves a lot of strength, and then just the psychological thing of having to do the eliminations as well. And what happens with UK's Strongest Man is that after day one, so you finish day one, going into day two, the points all revert back to zero. So it doesn't matter, for instance, if the first place is on 20 points and the second place is on 12 points after the first day, all reverts back to zero, and it's sort of like a new competition for day two. So they all went in on a level playing field today. The first event was the arm over arm truck pull. 8-ton truck that you're pulling for 20 meters. Strong event for Killian. Ended up doing the 20 meters in 48.44 seconds, which was good enough for third place, which got him 4 points. Interestingly, he missed out on second place by 0.62 seconds. So a little over half a second was the difference. So that's how close some of these guys are. But all in all, third place, you can't really argue with that. Great result. Next one was the human wheelbarrow. Killian with this one ended up doing it in 10.09 seconds. So literally sprinted, and it was good enough for first place. So got 6 points from that. Yeah, you can't say any more about that. That was absolutely blitz, that event. Final event was the Stones of Strength. So you had 5 stones here. 115, 130, 145, 160 and 175. It's all 15 kg jumps. Now with this, you had Louis Jack, who did all 5 stones. Then you went to 3 competitors that did 4 stones. So that's going up to 160 kg stone. So it came down to time. And Killian was in there. So second place was Callum Koser, who did the 4 stones, like I said, in 26.27 seconds. Then you went to Killian, who did it in 29.1 seconds. And you had Andrew Flynn, who did it in 29.87 seconds. So a little over 3 seconds between those. Like I said, that's how close it actually is. But that has left Killian in sort of second place because of the way they work it. But it basically joined first on day 2. He ended up on 14 points. Andrew Flynn ended up on 14 points as well. So basically joined first. Now a couple of great things about that is, obviously, when you come in join first, he's staying above the eliminators. The eliminators are a tough extra event that the bottom 3 competitors have to go through. And the bottom 2 will end up being eliminated. So Killian didn't have to do that. Again, it just saves a bit of strength, a bit of energy for the final day, because this is a long competition. And the other thing that it obviously does is it will give him huge confidence going into that final day. I think that's probably as good a day as he could have had. 2 third places and a first place. It's a real achievement. And the people he will be going up against. So we should have the final names here. So there's going to be 4 athletes left in Group A and 4 athletes left in Group B. So I'm going to start with Group A. Let me just see if all the names are in. Okay, so from Group A, we've got Chris Beetham from Scotland, Paul Smith, who you'll all know, I'm sure, from England. You've got Matt Diamond from Wales, and then you have Scott Milan. he ended up in that 4th place. And then in Group B, we've got Andrew Flynn, Killian Groom, of course, Callum Kozer, and Louis Jack ended up in that 4th place. So well done to all those athletes. It is a huge achievement to get through to the final day of UK Strongest Man. It is generally known to be one of the most difficult, most exhausting competitions that is on the strongman scene at all. So to make it through to the final day that's a huge success in itself. So I will be doing another recap tomorrow after the finals. So it's the final day tomorrow. We've got 3 athletes that are well capable of hitting that podium. So it will be interesting to see what actually happens. It's going to be an exciting day. So make sure, click back over tomorrow evening and I'll have another video up for you.